everyone, welcome. I'm Skanda, and this is my fun guide for the God of Thunder Druid build, as I like to call it. I played a little bit of Diablo 4 when it launched and had a lot of fun playing it. I played the Earth Pulverized Druid build and it was very strong. But I'm not a hardcore player. I get like every couple of hours, every now and then. But I still like to play and enjoy when I get some time. And most of the builds I saw at that time required like some specific aspect or some specific unique, which were like very difficult drops and rare, specifically for the druid build. And this required me to grind a lot and required me to spend a lot of time. But I couldn't really spend a lot of time on the game, but I still wanted to have fun when I played it and build something on my own with like a theme in mind. So this is what I did when I played before and had like a lot of fun. But I stopped playing the game at around level 63 back then after unlocking tier 4. But I still had a lot of fun and I want to incorporate some similar aspects when I played in season 1 and also correct some mistakes that I did back then. So season 1 launched a couple of days back and I wanted to do something similar. So this time around I wanted to feel like I was literally the god of thunder and felt like there was like possibility with the druid. And I know you can achieve something similar with sorcerer, but since I played druid before, I am more familiar with it. So I thought I will build a druid who is like a master of the thunder element and feel like it. And I did not want to be a werewolf thunder build since I felt being werewolf didn't really feel like it matched the theme well. I wanted to be a human able to bend nature to my will and become the master of thunder. So this was my inspiration for the game, and having something like this while playing the game makes it a lot more fun for me and gives me like a purpose in the game, at least for me. So yeah, this was my inspiration and this is how I went about building the build. So yeah, keeping this in mind, this build will focus purely on being human and using lightning storm as the main damage output. But in order to make this build, I will just point out the stats that I focused on and think it's important, and also just give you some pointers. This is because there is like no perfect build out there, and even if someone thinks it's perfect, there will always be something better. So instead of that, I think it is better to understand what we want to achieve with the build and work towards that. And for people who do want to follow the guide, it will not just be like a copy paste from a guide, but instead all of us will be building our own versions of the build. And in that way, it's fun for everyone. Since this is what being an RPG, ARPG is all about. It's about building a godlike character by yourself. And also the another thing to note is that this build will be more useful to players who are looking to have some quality time with the game and are not grinding the game every day. Because let's be real here. If you have played this game for like 10 hours a day, 15 hours a day, you are familiar with most concepts of the game and also everything being presented in this video and also probably more. So this will mostly focus on people like myself who played the campaign and at the end of the campaign we are something like level 40 maybe, and we try to do some dungeons, and at around level 45 we will look to do the first capstone dungeon, the Cathedral of Light. And I will be real here. When I played the Capstone dungeon as Druid the first time when the game launched, I had a terrible time. I was level 46, but got completely destroyed by the first mob I saw because I didn't understand then what I needed to do. But, and also I did not have much fun either. So this build will mostly focus on that aspect and key pointers which we can put to progress till the end of the game in fact. But I will not make any remarks regarding Uber Lilith or how to clear her since I never reached level 100 or fought her. So yeah, with that in mind, let's get into it. So first, let's start with the skill tree. The skill tree is actually quite simple. We are focusing on mainly Lightning Storm to be our main damage dealer and Earth Spike as our generator, meaning as our basic skill. All our other points in skill tree will go into empowering these skills. Also, my main goal here was to stun everything that I see in front of me. I feel like stun or immobilize is the most powerful stat to have, specifically when clearing dungeons or huge groups of mobs. Like, just think, if an enemy is stunned, you are doing damage to them, but they are not able to do anything to you. That means that that is the best offensive and also the defensive skill that we can have. So in this build, we will focus on raining down lightning on all our enemies, stunning them, and making them absolutely useless, and then killing them. So yeah, this was the theme I was going for, and this is what I will be doing. So yeah, with that, let's get into the skill tree. So before I get into the skill tree, let me just say that I'm level 44 right now. This is right after I have completed my Capstone dungeon. So before, when I was doing the Capstone dungeon, I was actually level 43. So I had the skill points equivalent to that. And also, if I see here, I have unlocked, we get one skill point at level 1 of the renown, and also the stage 3 of the renown. Stage 1 and stage 3 of renown, we get uh, one skill point each. So totally we are able to get 10 skill points, but I have only unlocked 9 of them. I have not unlocked the last one. So in fact, I have gotten 9 skill points from renown, and also um, the skill points from just leveling up. So yeah, keeping that in mind, those are the skill points that I have assigned in the skill tree, and I'll just be going over the skill tree in general. So yeah, with that, let's get into the skill tree. So the first one, as I mentioned earlier, I am using the Earth Spike as the generator. Um, Earth Spike is one of the skills which I really like. This is really quick to cast, and also one of the main things which I mentioned earlier is that it is able to um, stun targets. Like over here, it has a 10% chance to stun targets. So this is really nice. So this is one of the main reasons why I took Earth Spike, and also there is another reason which I'll talk about later, but Earth Spike is the main source of generator. Then we have the Lightning Storm, which is self-evident since we are going for the literal god of lightning. So yeah, Lightning Storm, max leveled, and then I have taken the Primal Lightning Storm. Um, as it mentions, it has 12% chance to immobilize enemies hit for 3 seconds. And keep in mind that we will continuously be proccing 5 lightning strikes with each proc of lightning storm. Means that we have an extremely high chance of stunning targets or immobilizing targets. So this is really nice. And then I have taken all the skill points to generate more basic resource. And also this skill is really nice because just at the cost of 9% more spirit, you are actually getting 15% increased core skill damage. So this is really nice. And for the rest of I have taken this critical strikes against close enemies. If required, you can drop this, take something else, but I like critical strike chance even against close or distant enemies, but this is just for close, so I have taken those. And I have put 3 points over here as a defensive skill, Earthen Bulwark. This is really nice. So yeah, that's my defense. This is my only defensive in the skill tree at least. And then is the Poison Creeper. This is specifically because this is able to immobilize targets. And this has a lot of synergy with multiple other skills, which I'll talk later. But this is able to immobilize targets when with the active. And also, there is this critical strike chance is increased by 20% against enemies strangled by Poison Creeper. This is really nice. You are able to cast this on a group of enemies and just use your lightning storm to hit multiple critical strikes on each one of them. And also they are immobilized, so there are other bonuses which will add up. So yeah. And next we have the elemental exposure, which states that we have 10% chance to make enemies vulnerable. This is just nice to have. I'm not exactly going to make exactly going for the vulnerable damage. I'm not trying to make all the enemies vulnerable at all times. It's just nice to have. And then we have the Bad Omen, which is up to 30% chance when dealing damage to a vulnerable, immobilized, or stunned enemy that a lightning bolt also hits. Keep in mind, we are trying to actually go for immobilize and stun. Like this is able to stun enemies. Earth Spike has a chance to stun. Poison Creeper immobilizes. So this, we have an extremely high, this has a 30% chance. So we have an extremely high chance of getting this lucky chance. And also we have this, which is dealing lightning damage to enemies has 15% chance to immobilize them, which means that this is even more um, increased chance rate to immobilize stuff. And also if it is already immobilized, damage is increased by 18%. So there is really good synergy with all of these. And then we have the nature magic skills deal 12% increased damage to it. This is a no-brainer. This is good for all nature skills. And then we have this the storm skills deal 12% increased damage to enemies that are stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. So this is really nice because we are trying to go for stun, and all stunned enemies actually take 12% increased damage always. And then we have this, the resonance. Nature magic skills deal 6% increased damage. This is applied always, but keep in mind, this triples in bonus if an earth skill is a next skill cast after storm, or a storm skill is a next skill cast after an earth skill. So this actually has really good synergy with our basic skill and then the lightning storm, because we will actually hit an enemy with a earth spike first to generate spirit, then we will hit it with a lightning storm. So there is really good synergy between both of these, and lightning storm is able to get 18% more damage from resonance. So yeah, it has really good synergy. And then I have taken this ultimate cataclysm. This is like I felt like this went really well with the theme of what I was trying to go. Even though this didn't necessarily offer too much damage or anything, it looked really cool. So I just took it, right? So yeah, that is the reason behind it. There is no specific reason. It just looks really cool. And now for the final skill, it was this Nature's Fury. I feel like this skill is extremely strong. Like casting a storm skill has 30% chance to trigger a free earth skill, or casting an earth skill has 30% chance to trigger a free storm skill. This goes really well. This is a lot of just free damage lying around, because we keep in mind, like every time we proc an earth spike, we have a chance to send out a wind share, and then every time we try to do a lightning storm, it immediately directly hits that enemy with a landslide. It's not that a landslide procs somewhere else on the map, it's exactly on the enemy. So there are a couple of times where you'll see like 5 lightning storms hitting an enemy, and also like multiple landslides hitting that enemy. That looks really cool, right? And also goes well with our theme. And also it's a lot of free damage. And also the other thing is, whenever you cast the Earthen Bulwark, multiple times, most of the times usually you cast a Cyclone Armor along with it. So it's like 2 defensive skills wrapped into one. So that is nice. And the next one is this. Whenever you cast the Cataclysm, I have like 50% of the times I nearly cast Petrify. So it's Petrify is actually a stun. So you're stunning, you're getting a stun for free. And every time you stun, you have increased damage with all of the other skills over here. So this skill, I feel like is a really good skill to have with this build. So yeah, this was a general theme which I went with, and my general understanding of how everything works together. And like I said, with the theme that I was going for, I'm trying to stun everything that I see before me and then killing them. And this is the most optimal way I found, at least for level 43 that I had, and with the aspects that I got. So yeah, this was a really cool build, and I was able to complete the Capstone dungeon with it. And also, just to give a FYI, 2 earth spikes was able to generate enough resource to proc 2 lightning storms. Keep in mind, you can't just do 1 earth spike, 1 lightning storm. Again, go back to earth spike, again lightning storm, because you want to hit lightning storm at least 2 times for the lightning storm to grow in size. So every time you just proc it once, you actually don't grow in, the lightning storm doesn't grow in size. You have to hit at least 2 times. So you you hit earth spike 2 times, that generates enough spirit actually to proc lightning storm 2 times. So yeah, that's just FYI. And yeah, this is the summary of the skill tree. And with that, let's move forward. So here is a brief summary of the skill tree. If we look at this image, we can see the various different synergies between skills and how they are all working together. And this is also a really good way of understanding the total damage increase the stun or the immobilize is providing. And also this provides a brief summary of everything that I have explained so far in a very simplistic manner. So yeah, now let's get into the aspects. All the aspects that are in this build are actually available as unlocks from the dungeon. So just doing a couple of dungeons should be more than enough for us to put this build together. And there are, I think, like 2 or 3 main aspects which are important. But other than that, most of the other aspects, we can always switch it up to something else. So yeah, with that, let's get into the first aspect. The first aspect which I used was the aspect of the expectant. It states that attacking enemies with a basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill cast by 5%, up to 30%. So this is really nice because this has really good synergy with the way our build plays out, because we always cast our basic skill and then our core skill, and then again our basic skill and then the core skill. So we are continuously casting our basics, which means that we will reach this 30% extremely quick. By the time our lightning storm has reached its maximum potential of 5 lightning strikes each, we would have reached the 30%. So this is really nice. And then we have the Edge Masters aspect, which states that skills deal up to 10% increased damage based on your available primary resource. So this is also really good because we are always at full primary resource whenever we cast our lightning storms. And that is because with 2 earth spikes that you cast, which is our basic skill, your primary resource actually fills to the max. So the next lightning storm you deal actually deals this 10% increased damage always. So this is a really good aspect. And then we have the overcharged aspect, which states that there is up to 10% chance when dealing lightning damage to overload the target for 3 seconds, and any damage that we deal to them actually pulses additional damage to surrounding enemies. So this has really good synergy with what we are trying to achieve and the theme we are going for. So yeah, this is a really good aspect to have. And then we have the defensive aspects. If you remember, in most of the skill tree that we use, we only had 1 defensive skill, but in fact that converts into 2 because of the uh, passive skill we have at the end, which states that every time we cast an Earthen Bulwark, there is a chance that we cast the Cyclone Armor also. So because of that, we have 2 skills, 2 defensive skills, but most of our defense comes from our aspect, which is the aspect of might, which states that basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds. This is actually quite a lot because we are constantly hitting enemies with basic skills. Like we never stop hitting them. It is extremely frequent. So we are always having this 20% damage reduction on us. So this is a really nice aspect to have. And then we have the aspect of disobedience. This is a no-brainer. You gain 0.25% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 15%. So we have 15% more armor. So yeah, this is also nice. And then we have the Wind Striker aspect. So this is for our movement speed and also for clearing aspect. If you know, whenever you cast the lightning storm, you're actually standing still. But whenever you do the basic skill, you can actually move. So you cast your basic skill, and then you cast your core skill, which critically strikes, and then when you want to move, you have this increased movement speed. So you are able to clear dungeons faster. So this was the idea that I was going for, and this grants movement speed whenever you do a critical strike. So yeah, this is nice to have. And then we have the aspect of the Umbral, which states that it restores 1 of your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. And we actually crowd control enemy extremely frequently, because I think there are 11 different types of crowd control. All the stun, immobilize, etc. everything falls under crowd control. We are constantly doing this. So you're constantly restoring your primary resource. And that's the reason I said, like, every 2 casts of your basic skill in fact fills your primary resource. So you don't need to worry about that. And this also helps. And then we have the aspect of shared misery, which states that when you hit a crowd control enemy, there is up to 30% chance for that crowd control effect to spread to another unaffected enemy. This just guarantees that all the enemy that you see before you are actually affected by the crowd control. Because when you do one lightning storm, which has 5 different lightning strikes, which has extremely high chance of stunning an enemy, if by chance a specific enemy is not stunned, this will ensure that he actually gets stunned. Because if there are like 4 different enemies that are stunned, and one enemy who is not stunned, then every single enemy over there has a chance to stun that enemy which is not stunned. So this 30% chance is actually really nice. And then we have the aspect of inner calm, which states that deal 5% increased damage for each second you stand still, up to 30%. So this aspect I'm not really sure. I just used it because I had an empty slot, but I don't think I never used this to its full potential, because I was constantly moving by casting basic skill and then the core skill, basic core skill, etc. So I don't think I never really used this to its fullest potential. In fact, we can change this out for some. If you find something better than this, always you can change it out. And that's also the same case for most of the other aspects. Like if you find some other better aspect out there, always you can change it out. And and also there are like couple of really good aspects which are drops, but unfortunately I didn't drop any good aspect at the time, and I wanted to tackle the Capstone dungeon, so I just went with these aspects since I could just imprint them. And also, yeah, in fact I imprinted all of these aspects, so all the rolls on all of the aspects that I use were very bad. Like all whenever you imprint an aspect, you always get the lowest roll possible. Means that if there is a chance for you to get 10 to 20% damage increase, you will always get just the 10% damage increase. So it's always the lowest roll. So yeah, that is what I got. And then also, if you are lucky and drop some like really good rolls or better aspects, you can always switch them out. Like the first 2 aspects that I mentioned are some of like the necessary aspects. All the rest, in fact, can be switched out if you find a really good one, right? So that's the list for the aspects. Now, finally for the boons. So there really isn't a spirit boon which is like build defining. Some of these offer like some quality of life things, while others offer like some offensive or some defensive capabilities. But for our build specifically, like none of them are extremely crucial. There are like 2 boons I think which are slightly more important than the rest, and that is the Scythe Balance in the Eagle Tree, which offers 5% crit chance, and the Energize in the Wolf Tree, which offers 15% chance to restore 10 spirit. That The Energize is actually really good to as it has really good synergy with our core skill. Since we are actually hitting enemies multiple times, we have lot more chance to restore the 10 spirit, and it also makes sure we are always at maximum spirit, right? And we are able to get the increased damage from another one of our aspects. So yeah, it there is really good synergy with. But other than these, I think you can switch up some of your other boons based on your personal preference. Like if you like some other boons more, you can always feel free to switch it up. But these are the boons that I used. And with that, the build is complete. So in the video right now, I'm currently doing the Capstone dungeon. It was not easy, but it was still possible. I made a lot of mistakes since this was my first attempt after a while at this boss, and had forgotten most of his mechanics. But I died once, and this was due to like a crossbow, which is always like a fun experience to have. But other than that, it went fine. Most of the other bosses or elites which I had to kill before I encountered the main boss in the Capstone dungeon were quite easy to kite because my thunder skill was constantly stunning them. So all I was doing was walking backwards, stunning them, damaging them, again walking backwards, doing the same thing. So I was just kiting in a manner. And it went fine. There, it wasn't like particularly difficult. I never died once while just killing those elites, but I did die once to the boss. And one other thing to note is that um, all druid builds are extremely weak early and become a lot stronger later in the game. So there is no lack of potential for this build either, as once we unlock Paragon boards and good aspects, it will become a lot stronger. I'm pretty sure of that. And in fact, the next Capstone dungeon will be a lot easier than the Cathedral of Light, as our build will be in a much better shape. But I just wanted to make a fun build which sticks to a theme and have fun playing the game. I did not want to like just build a werewolf shred build or pulverize build just because they are meta. And I just wanted to make a build which was fun outside the norm and also be able to progress through the challenges offered in the game. And I wanted to have fun from the start of the game. I did not want to use a build just to develop and then switch to a fun build later in the game, because I'm not sure if I'll even have the uh, interest to play the game if I'm not having fun from the start of the game. So I wanted to have a fun build from the start of the game. And then yeah, with that, one other thing is that I'm pretty sure many other people have done similar builds, and some there might even be guides on various sites. I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to say I'm not trying to steal anyone's credit either. I just wanted to make a build which was fun outside the norm and be able to progress through the challenges offered in the game. With that, I'll leave the video to run till I finish the Capstone dungeon, and also share the build I went through at the end screen in the video, just so that you can clearly see that I picked the gear which had the highest armor and damage and have not upgraded any gear either. I have not even used gems for some gear, and some don't even have sockets in them. So, and also I'm not saying that you should not upgrade your gear or you should not use gems. I just meant that if I was able to complete the Capstone dungeon without any of these, pretty sure most of you will do a lot better. So it is possible to complete the Capstone dungeon with this build with minimal gear for any of you. With that, thank you everyone for watching the video. See you all